In the last video, I talked about how difficult it can be to see our own value, how the things that come naturally to us often feel ordinary. And I ended that with a question. If it's hard for us to see our own value, why does it hurt so much when other people don't see it either? I spend a lot of my life wrestling with that question, not because I need constant praise or attention, but because I want people to understand what went into becoming who I am. I remember one time preparing a Thanksgiving meal. It wasn't just the cooking. It was the planning, the shopping, timing of everything, making sure that all the pieces came together. And if you've ever hosted a holiday meal, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You spend hours and hours of work that go into just a few hours around the table. And when everyone arrived, they enjoyed the food, they thanked me, they appreciated it. And honestly, that wasn't the part that bothered me. What bothered me came later. When I started talking about how some of it was made, how I solved certain problems, how I figured out all, along the way, the conversation quickly moved on. No one actually cared. And if I'm honest, that stung more than I expected. Not because I wanted applause, and not because I wanted someone to tell me how amazing I was, but because I wanted someone to see what went behind the result. The planning, the learning, the effort, the experience. I wanted them to see what created the meal, not just the meal itself. And the older I get, the more I realize this isn't really about Thanksgiving. It's about something much deeper. I think many of us want to be understood. We want people to see more than just the outcome. We want them to see the journey, the sacrifices, the lessons, the failures, the years that shaped us. But life doesn't usually work that way. Most people simply see the result. They don't see everything that made the result possible. And if we're honest, we don't want appreciation. We want understanding. We want people to see what they can't see. The years behind the skill, the lessons behind the wisdom, the failures behind the success. But most people will never see that. They see the meal. They don't see the hours that went behind it. They see the solution. They don't see the years that made that solution possible. And that's when I realized something. The problem wasn't that people couldn't see it. The problem was how much I needed them to see it. I was asking people to validate something I couldn't fully see. Eventually, I had to ask myself a difficult question. Why does their recognition matter so much to me? Why do I need them to see it before I can feel good about it? And the answer is not comfortable. Because part of me was still looking for validation. I wanted other people to confirm the value I wasn't fully convinced of myself. And that's a dangerous place to build your identity. Because people can appreciate you one day and overlook you the next day. They can praise you one day and they dismiss you another day. And if your value depends on their recognition, your value will rise and fall with their opinion. So maybe the real question isn't, why don't people see what I bring? Maybe the real question is, why do I need them to? And that question led me to something I wasn't expecting. Because eventually I had to confront something even harder. What happens when people seem to value only what I can do for them